Hey everybody, I'm back. Today, I know the title looks pretty intimidating, but we'll get through it. We will. Uh we got function parameters and return statements. So there is more to functions and now's the time to get into it. So hopefully you understand the basis of a function. So I'm going to create a function right now and we'll call this add. I feel like that's a good way to explain it. And that was a point of these parentheses. Within these parentheses, you can pass through something called a parameter. And this allows us to pass through data, and that data can be used within the scope of our function. So we're going to pass in val1, and we're going to pass in val2. Hit enter here. So we just passed in two parameters separated by comma. So if we want to pass in 3, you just add another one. 4, you get the point. You separate them with commas, and then you got to name them. So now these two variables are within the scope of our function. Those are parameters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these parameters and I'm going to add them. So I haven't gone over this yet. I'll go over it. This plus sign, that's an equal sign. This plus sign is addition. It's a math function. I'm going to go over math functions later in this pretty cool keyword called math. But for now, I think you guys, that's pretty simple. I'm just going to add them, but I'm going to do something pretty interesting. I'm going to say return, which is a keyword, val1 plus val2. That looks intimidating. Return statements were very, very intimidating for me at first. I don't know why I couldn't grasp them, but I'm going to do my best to explain them. And why is this giving me, what's giving me an issue here? Oh, okay, nothing. Okay. So now when I call this method, or function, excuse me, the return statement basically makes this function call a variable, if you want to think of it like that. So we're going to make a variable called answer, and it's going to be equal to the function call of this. And then what do you want to add? Let's add 2 plus 2. That is a lot. It doesn't look like a lot, but it is a lot. So yes, I lied. You can set variables equal to function calls. And what this return statement does is that it returns in data, and it's returning data as this function call. So it's going to return 4 in this case. So now this function call returns 4. So now answer is equal to the number 4. So if I go ahead and print answer, I should get 4. And without a doubt, we got 4. That's a lot. So I'm going to do something else too. So you don't always have to return a value like that. You can just, hello, you can just go ahead and return and end the function. So say we get another function. We're just gonna call this guy prac. Short for practice. I'm just using slang. So like we're doing stuff, I'm sending some variables. Local var is equal to 1. Local var2 is equal to 2. Print var1. Not a vector 2D, my bad. Print var1 and then return. So this is a really bad example because once it gets down here, it's done anyway. But what this return does is that it stops the function. So once we get into if statements, which will be in the next video, this will make a lot more sense. But it allows us just to end the function right there. So say like this return statement, and say like somehow there was some code after this, it would stop right here because we have a return statement, and we can return one of these vars here, and then this function call will be set to 1, and then we can save that as a variable. So you get that. But the return statement, it allows you to return data within a function, and then obviously two parameters, which was a little bit simpler. It allows you to pass in data in a function that can be used within that scope, like how we used with the addition function before. But I'm going to be using this return statement a lot. It'll make a little bit more sense once I go over if statements as well. But those are function parameters and return statements. Practice with these. Practice like a subtraction function. If you don't know the key terms, like when you're subtracting, subtraction sign, uh, multiplication sign is that, division sign is that. I'll go over math functions later, but practice the return statements. Practice just returning numbers to a variable. Returning a function. So like this works. This is redundant though because there's nothing after it, so the function ends after this anyway. But practice with that. It's a difficult topic. If you have questions, any of that, join our Discord or shoot a comment. Let me know. We got you covered. Don't worry about it. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I think I said that a lot, but if it doesn't, I think the next video will really reinforce it. But enjoy, practice with this, practice passing through parameters, stuff like that. Here's a syntax if you want to take a screenshot, return statements, and then whatever you want to return, you just put right after part one, something like that. Hopefully that makes sense. But if it doesn't, let me know. Enjoy. Have a good night.